Hi, I'm Mary. We have another great episode for you today. I am going to be talking with Vijay Kowtha. He is the club coach for the Robotics Club, and there's a lot of rich history that he's going to share with us and just give us some of the upcoming events that they have coming on. He's brought a few guests with him who are going to even give you a lot more information about this club that we all support and love in this community. Vijay Kowtha is the Director of Membership at Large, Sigma Psi, Science Honor Society. He completed his early education in New York City and moved to Washington, D.C. for his postdoctoral training at the National Institute of Health in 1989. He has been doing K through 20 outreach since graduate school in 1985. He was the parent-teacher student president at Eleanor Roosevelt High School in 2007 through 2010 and taught zero-period engineering at the school. It is such a pleasure to have you here today.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you for allowing us.
You're very welcome. How are you?
Good.
You know, I see you brought a lot of information and you brought some really great guests, and you want to talk about the club that you're so passionate about.
Sure.
You are the coach for the
Team Illusion 4464. It used to be in Greenbelt at the Eleanor Roosevelt High School as Area 53, and Team Illusion then was disbanded. And we used the name because they won the national championship in 2001, and we moved it to a new makerspace in Lanham, and we were there from 2012 to 2016, and now we have a new abode in Greenbelt thanks to Beltway Plaza Mall next to TJ Maxx, where we meet Monday, Wednesday and Friday, and we want to bring back the glory of Team Illusion at Roosevelt.
Absolutely, absolutely, and you should. I mean, I have a nephew who used to be a member of the club, and the club inspired him to continue doing science research. Now he's an undergraduate at Penn State doing aerospace engineering.
So I want to get back to the history a bit.
Yes.
As a member of Sigma Psi and the Washington Academy of Sciences, I never met this person, but I heard a lot about him. So when I dug through as a volunteer historian, I found William Albert Zisman, the picture on the back side here.
Okay.
Mr. Zisman grew up in DC, went to McKinley High, and he said there weren't enough hours in a day to enjoy science in the school. And when he was in there was depression, and in the World War I, there were a lot of Hokies. They were moved to Anacostia. So he said, I'm going to make a difference. So he got his graduate training, came back to DC, but didn't have a job. So he married a woman who was in the USDA, and they co-founded and worked together without salary.
Wow.
To build the city of Greenbelt in the 1930s. He then worked on science in the evenings and had patents and passionately advanced science, and had about 250 students over his time.
Really?
Who'd done very well in science and engineering.
Amazing.
So we had when we opened our Beltway Plaza Mall, we had a science cafe lecture given by a 94-year-old gentleman.
Oh my.
About what the accomplishments of Bill Zisman were. One of them was one of his students, Elaine Shafran, who was part of the Washington Academy of Sciences. He brought her from World War II days by telling the parents that she's an amazing young lady and she has so much to give. And what did Elaine do when she came back? She promoted Washington area science fairs. And you'll be hearing a little bit about our three guests. One is Paul. Paul was a recipient. He was a science student in the DC area in the 60s. And Elaine was there to help them, guide him to what he is now. And Paul has done amazing things, as you will be hearing from now.
I can't wait to speak to him. Thank you for inviting him to the show.
Good. So along the way, in the 70s, this concept of science promotion and doing capstone research, that is where students are given a year off from school to do science the way it should be, with a mentor who could spend hours with the student. That has happened, and students over at Roosevelt from the 70s have done very well in their after-school activities and also in the capstone research. We want to recapture that.
Right.
And so that's why we are here, to describe what we will be doing as we go down the road.
Wonderful.
So I have old pictures of the 70s, how the Roosevelt students in the clubs that they were part of passionately moved the challenge down the ladder and improved a lot in PG County.
But I want to ask you, now that you're at Beltway Plaza Mall, is it just also limited to Eleanor Roosevelt High School students, or are you opening it up more? Or?
As you will be hearing from Vasudha and Rama, it's all about community.
Community, okay.
So when Zisman designed the city of Greenbelt, what is Greenbelt? A community event where people could come and moms could take care of the kids. The whole community would take care of it. That's the idea. Okay. So we as mentors in science, in Sigma Psi and the Academy, want to spend hours with our children to engage them in science and technology.
And you're such a great role model because you've brought your child, Vasudha, your daughter, who is an alum of the club as well.
Yes.
And now she's gone on to do graduate studies at Maryland.
Yep, and you'll be hearing a lot about the Roosevelt Way.
Oh, great.
And the Robotics Club.
Oh, wonderful. So, ladies and gentlemen, please stay tuned as we get ready to speak with Vasudha, who's going to be giving us some more information about what they have coming up with the Greenbelt Robotics Club, Team Illusion. Thank you for staying tuned, and we're back with Vasudha Kowtha. She's a graduate student at the University of Maryland in the Institute for Systems Research, and her area of research is speech signal processing. She graduated from Eleanor Roosevelt High School in 2011 after spending 4 years as a member of the Robotics Club. Prior to that, she competed with the Eleanor Roosevelt High School Robotics Club in her middle school years in London, UK, with Team London AI at the Naval Academy in spring 2005. At that time, her team won the Judges Award, and Eleanor Roosevelt High School was their alliance winner and went on to the national championship in Atlanta. Vasudha, thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Wow, what an impressive background for such a young, beautiful brainiac.
Thank you.
You know, I just finished talking to your father, and he shared the history of the Robotics Club with us, and it's inspiring to see young people such as yourself not only get involved, but go on to graduate studies. So tell us more about that, how you got involved and what, you have to share.
I think a major source of inspiration for going on to STEM graduate studies was the fact that I got involved in robotics at such a young age. And I think the opportunity that I had in middle school, as you just mentioned, to get into robotics is one that, Area 53, the Roosevelt Robotics Club, as well as Team Illusion is giving young people in Greenbelt in PG County.
Wow, when I hear robotics, I think about the ones that fly overhead, and I know Google is building some cool robots. And tell us what the application is, and
sure. So the focus of our club and First Robotics is ground robots.
Okay.
And the particular challenge is that you have 6 weeks to build a robot according to certain specifications, given a kit of parts. Major parts of this challenge are figuring out not only how to fulfill the challenge, so maximize the amount of points that you score, but also how to work cooperatively with other team members. So how to work, not just interpersonally, but how to get your robot to work with other robots to as a group, maximize, your good strategy as a team.
Wow, that's a team effort.
Absolutely.
And so that has wide applications. So at this level, if the students are learning to collaborate scientifically to complete a task through a machine, it's just so relevant.
Absolutely, and I think a lot of my teammates, as well as a lot of the kids that I've seen and mentored over the years in the robotics clubs, have gone on to do engineering, science, math, and build really great things.
Of course, because technology, like right now we see all these cool products, and this is where it starts.
Sure.
And it's so fantastic that, you could have such aggressive, real-time, real-life, application with the challenges that you all are doing.
Absolutely.
And I know you have some things
I think it's
coming up.
also impressive that, all of this is based on the time and the effort of the mentors, people who come in and teach us, in middle school and high school, and we hardly know anything about engineering, how to go about building a robot, what engineering principles are, and there are some, really stellar people such as Mike Dash from Maryland, from Greenbelt, such as Guru Ramu, like too many people to name who come back and give us their time to teach us.
So these are people who come back and they're currently in scientific
absolutely
careers. Okay,
so
they keep you.
People from who work in robotics, who work in engineering, who work in science and math, they come back and they teach us. So the robotics challenge that we embark on has sort of three main parts. There's a mechanical engineering challenge, there's an electrical engineering challenge, and there's a computer engineering challenge. And these three parts need to come together to make the robot work as a whole. So people with these different specialty areas will come back and mentor us.
So you just broke it down into three areas. You said the computing aspect, the mathematical, what was the other one?
So there's mechanical engineering, so
engineering.
building the robot.
Okay. I should ask you, what is a robot? I'm just assuming that I know.
Yeah, absolutely.
But when you break it down like that, tell me a little bit more about robotics. What is it?
So the idea is that you want to build agents that will go around and do things, maybe like humans, maybe better than humans, maybe in different ways than humans, but agents that can go around and do useful things. So the computing aspect, the computer science aspect is important because we want these robots, in some sense, to go around autonomously, all on their own, without telling them at every juncture, go and do this, like go fetch this item, go. We want them to know what they need to do, to know the game that they need to play, to figure out how to best score points in a given environment, or be most efficient or useful in a given environment. So we want to program them in order to have these sorts of intuitions about the environment that we place them in. But first we have to build something mechanically to go around and do that.
Yeah.
So that's the mechanical aspect.
Okay.
And then there's an electrical aspect, which is wiring the robot. And then there's this sort of giving the robot the instructions that it needs to go and perform well in the task.
Well, that sounds so intimidating. How do you make it fun?
Yeah, and I think that's the mentors. I
Yeah.
think that's the team environment. A high school, a middle school, they're like wonderful places in that all of your friends are doing it too. At Eleanor Roosevelt High School, there's the magnet program, which I think really makes science and technology seem glamorous.
I can see you so passionate about it, and I think that's what I find from your club and your coach. And I just spoke with your dad. He's the current coach of Team Illusion. So making it interesting enough for young people who, there's a lot of distractions, but, staying focused and doing it. And you're talking about programming and mechanical and electrical, that's a lot.
But the important thing is that it doesn't seem like a chore at all. I mean, it's just something that you have the opportunity to do, that when you see people, and I think this is sort of what's really interesting about the new Beltway Plaza space. It's entirely made of glass. You've seen the place.
Yes.
And people shopping, just going to TJ Maxx, come out of the store and they see people building robots. Wow. And I think even in the few days that we've been there thus far, I've seen kids who are like, Mommy, what does this store sell? What do they do here? And just seeing people build robots, seeing people like knowing that this is an avenue that you have in your life is such a vital part of a community.
Yeah.
And
it's accessible.
Absolutely.
Through the robotics club.
Yep.
And it can be fun.
I think it's incredibly fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing
Absolutely.
that. Piqued my interest. I've got to, learn more about robotics in general, and how I can get involved, because I just seen it's like something so far removed, like it's hard. You have to be really, really. But
when you see people after school just running from their classes so they can go and finish their part of a robot,
really,
it's incredibly fun.
Oh wow, that's great.
Yeah.
Well, you've been so lucky to have a mentor as your dad.
Yeah, I think my dad played a huge role in getting me to get into robotics and showing me that this could be so fun. And I owe a tremendous amount to him.
Thank you so much for coming
Absolutely.
on. I'm really inspired. I'm going to definitely learn more about robotics. I may even stop by if you have
Please
me.
do.
So you're open to the community, and your days are?
Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 3 to 7 p.m.
3 to 7 p.m.
Yep.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it here. We're going to encourage you to get involved. Robotics is challenging, but not intimidating, because they make it fun. And that's why the Robotics Club is going to bring back the glory days. Next, we'll be speaking with Rama, who's going to share some more information about their 3-day challenge. So stay tuned. And we're back. Thank you for staying tuned. I'm here with Ramasai Tadapelli. He was a member of Team Illusion in the mechanical team, and he's now a sophomore in computer engineering at the University of Maryland. He was the co-captain of the mechanical team, and the team won the safety award at the Chesapeake Regional held at the University of Maryland. He has returned as a mentor to the team, and the team won the Judges Award this year. Wow, thank you for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
Such accolades.
Thank you.
Well, tell me some more information about the Robotics Club when you were a member.
I moved to the United States from India in 2014, and my uncle Vijay, who we talked to earlier, introduced me to the club. I always knew I had an interest in science and technology, but due to the absence of any such clubs in India, I wasn't really introduced to hands-on learning. When I first heard about the club, I thought it would be a great idea to get deep into robotics, science and technology and try more to understand the avenues that have been opened up newly for me. So in 2014, it was my senior year of high school, and I was a member of the club, and the club had around 20 members in it. I was part of the mechanical subgroup, and the challenge that was given to us that year was to design a robot that actually stacks boxes on top of each other and places a recycle bin on top, along with a pool noodle thrown in. So it was quite an experience for me. It was my first time along with a couple of other team members, but we had some experienced mentors and students with us along with our coach who always were there to motivate us when needed and guide us through the right path at all times.
So it was challenging and fun and educational.
Absolutely.
Is that why you came back as a mentor?
I did.
Yeah.
So in 2015, I went to the University of Maryland, and I thought might as well come back because we actually helped start a new team based in Bowie, and half of our team members just left to join the other team, and our team didn't have as many members. So I thought the need for mentors in a team is absolutely pressing, because when you have new members who have little to no idea of what is supposed to be done with a kit of parts that's given to you immediately, and if you have experienced mentors with you, then they can help you brainstorm some ideas, come up with new design patterns, and also help you build the robot up together. So I thought coming back as a mentor is also going to help me retain the knowledge that I gained when I was a student, and will also help the other students get the knowledge from me when I come back as a mentor.
Absolutely, because you've walked the walk.
Absolutely.
And then, going on to do, advanced studies in science.
Right.
And then you're young too. You can speak their language, right? So
Right.
that's really cool. That's so good.
Thank you.
Is it a lot of time, the commitment?
It is a lot of time commitment in the 6 weeks that's given to us after the challenge is unveiled on the first Saturday of every year in the first week of January. But after that, in the pre-season times or when the competition is taking place, it's not that much of a time commitment, surprisingly.
Okay.
So the 6 weeks is when it's crunch time and everybody comes together, spends long hours at the place where we actually build the robot and gets work done as soon as possible, because we have trial runs and whatnot after that.
So tell us about the future, of the club and what you have coming. I keep hearing about the 3-day challenge. What's
Right.
that?
So when the challenge is first unveiled, everyone in the group comes together and discusses how the robot should be designed, or what are the constraints that have to be kept in mind while we come up with a solid plan for the next 6 weeks to find out what we actually will be working on. So for all of this, there are some experienced teams throughout the country that have been doing this challenge for 15 plus years and have come up with a brilliant idea of creating some YouTube videos to post them in the first 72 hours after the challenge has been unveiled. So a group of mentors and students come together, mostly mentors, who just design the robot completely from scratch and build it in a period of 72 hours that's fully functional and finishes the challenge in the given time period. And they make a video log out of this, they make complete working videos of the robot, and they post it on YouTube. So our idea was to bring this concept to the Northeast side because no one has experimented with it yet. We thought we might be the first people to do it. And also, since Illusion has been the national champion before, as you said, the future plan is just to bring the 3-day build concept to this part of the country, and also to bring together all the old members of Illusion in Area 53, which was the Roosevelt's team, together and do something in 72 hours that will inspire all the kids who are walking down Beltway Plaza with their parents, or whether they are walking down with their friends, to come and see what we are doing, so that they also can be excited and motivated to get into science and STEM and join the club, make it a big family,
Right.
branch out into more teams.
Yeah, that's very exciting and quite ambitious.
It is. I'm wearing an Illusion shirt right now that has been our
Okay.
sponsor that has been our main shirt for the past 3 years. and we hope to continue the team legacy further, go on to win the World Championship again, and make it more expansive with a lot more students coming in.
Well, good luck to you. I have a lot of confidence that you're going to complete that task successfully.
Thank you very much. I hope so.
Yeah, with brilliant young mentors like you and the coaches and all the people that we've had on the show today, I know the future of the club is strong.
Everyone comes together to support the team. We absolutely will.
Thank you so much for coming on.
My pleasure.
It was an interesting conversation.
Absolutely.
We would definitely check back and to see how your challenge went.
Looking forward to it.
And love to have you all back.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. We'll be back with our next guest who's going to be talking about the future of Team Illusion. Hi, I'm Mary Harrison, and if you've stayed tuned, you know that we've been talking about the Robotics Club of Greenbelt, Team Illusion. We had on their coach and mentor, and some of the mentors who were members of the club and, have gone on to graduate studies and have come back for the love of science and what the club has inspired in them to continue on in research. But now we do have another guest who's going to really be talking about the future of science for to support the STEM education projects, and also some of the wonderful things that he's doing at the Washington Academy of Sciences. So please help me welcome Paul Armisen to the show. Hi, Paul.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, the Washington Academy of Sciences represents affiliated societies all around the country, but we are focused on the Washington area, metropolitan area. And so we do projects to recognize scientists. We have a spring banquet that recognizes a lot of local scientists. Of course, as you know, there's been many Nobel Prize winners that have come out of the Washington, D.C. area.
Yes.
We also do a lot of work with science fairs. I got my inspiration when I was working in a science fair in high school, and it gave a focus to my scientific interest, and we built projects and got recognition for that very early on. And I was proud of my Washington Junior Academy of Sciences certificate, and I put it on the wall in my room. So we still do science fair judging in this area. And so we're currently involved in plans for the judging of the Blair Magnet High School Science Fair, which will be coming up next week.
Okay.
And we are excited about some of the bright students that we're going to be seeing at that event. So we also are partnering with Team Illusion and the robotics folks that you've been talking about. These robotics, I got interested in this, I got intrigued because, for example, these robots are controlled by little computers. And there's little small computers about the size of a deck of cards called a Raspberry Pi or an Arduino. And they are, the Raspberry Pi is a full functioning computer, and it costs less than $20. Wow. And so these things are breakthroughs that can affect children all over the world to open up science education opportunities for new careers. So as part of the Washington Academy of Sciences, we're very interested in encouraging science education, and particularly for these young students going into the future careers. A lot of these concepts and robotics and drones and 3D printing, a lot of these things didn't exist when I was a kid in high school. But now these things can actually be built by kids in these little project rooms that they develop. For example, at the one that we're just starting up at Beltway Plaza Mall. And that's open to the public. As you heard, 3 days a week, we're going to be in there, mentors working with students to build the robots.
That is incredible.
So we'll also be planning in the future to develop other projects, such as the solar cooking project.
Oh, so is that what you have here?
Yes, this is an example of a solar cooker. It's called the hot pot. And it consists of the three-part pot that captures sunlight with this reflector. The bowl keeps the hot air around the pot, and this will cook food. Cook any food you want, whatever will fit in the pot. And just leave it out in the sun for a couple of hours on a sunny day, and it cooks your food. So it has no fuels, no emissions, very low cost to operate, very low labor involved, and we are building concepts like this to distribute around the world. We want to get the children and the high school students interested in inventing concepts for solar cookers. So this is another example of the kind of things that we can do, partnering between universities, local science establishments, and schools, to build education.
And so this is easy to make. I can imagine you using this camping trips or in countries where they don't have constant electricity.
Right.
They can, do something like this. So is it only the solar panel that you made, or did you make the pot?
These can be made out of local materials. For example, I was in India back last July, and I was at a compound up in North India, and I didn't bring any materials with me, but from local materials around the area, I found some cardboard, some shiny plastic film, and some wire, and I put together a reflector, and then I got a little aluminum pot, painted it black, and we were able to cook a pot of rice in the sun.
I'm sure they were amazed.
With nothing but basically local trash and found materials.
Wow. That's the kind of thing that gets kids inspired to do science, showing them how they can take simple things that they can find around that's accessible to them and create something of function, and I know that's how I got inspired. I actually have a background in science as well, but it was from these, experiments and all the things that, my mentors showed me to make them useful in everyday now.
Right.
Are you going to be involved in the 3-day challenge?
I'm going to be observing.
Okay.
I'm pretty new at robotics, but I was over there at the Beltway Plaza Mall, and one of their mentors, Steve, had his robot there. It was just, to me, it looked like just a kind of pile of junk on the floor with wires coming out of it and everything. And then Steve pulled his little smartphone out of his pocket, pushed a few buttons, and the thing started to move.
Wow.
And it went rolling around and trying to pick up the objects. You see? So it's changing. This is like computers 2.0, starting all over again with these new concepts that can move and manipulate things and can do many practical things in the world. So that's exciting.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. And I will definitely share more information about, the Washington Academy of Sciences and also the Robotics Club and how you all are collaborating and how other people can get involved. Would that be helpful?
Thank you very much.
Yes, yes. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. That was our show. And you can always tune back and watch more interesting guests and all their projects and plans and initiatives right here. These are people in the community doing great things. Hopefully you've been encouraged and inspired to get involved in science and also get involved with the Robotics Club. They could definitely use your support. We're going to share more information on our website, www.themaryharrisonshow.com. Thanks for staying tuned. Stay well.